how do you turn a good car into something better? In GAC's case, they made it electrified. Hey guys, Jamil here from AutoIndustriya.com, and what I have for you is the new GAC Emkoo Hybrid. Now, it's the first electrified model of GAC in the country, and today we're gonna find out just how good the hybrid system of the GAC motor is. But before anything else, please like and subscribe on our YouTube channel so you can follow us here on AutoIndustriya.com. Now, the GAC Emkoo Hybrid, well, we kind of had to wait to really experience it for ourselves because, well, it was previewed back at the Manila International Auto Show last year, but it was launched somewhere around September or October, there or thereabouts. So there was quite a lengthy wait, and for a good reason, because when the GAC Emkoo Hybrid was launched in the Philippine market, already benefits from the zero excise taxes, and that means you can have the GAC Emkoo Hybrid at more competitive prices. Now, for the look itself, the GAC Emkoo Hybrid really looks pretty much the same as the ICE models. Now, it's not the first time that we saw the design of the GAC Emkoo, but it's still as striking as the first time that we saw it. I mean, just look at the front end, how busy it is, but how cohesive it is to look at. I mean, there are a lot of crossovers in the market today, but it's never quite as close to how bold GAC got when they designed the Emkoo. Now, the front end here is an all-LED lighting affair, and really, the one that differentiates the Emkoo Hybrid from the normal ICE variants is the badge in front, because it has the blue halo badge. Now, the rest of the body, well, carried over from the ICE version. You have the 19-inch wheels with the GT tires. They feel very well on the road. You also have these blacked out mirrors. You have these flush door handles that look very good, very cohesive with the design of the GAC Emkoo. And also, well, by the way, this unit is already tinted, so in case you guys want to buy one of these in the dealerships, you already have a first look on how it will roll out of the dealership.
Come on, come on. Come on, come on.
Now, the back end of the GAC Emkoo is where we'll find the things that I like and don't like about the crossover. Now, on to the things that I like. These LED lighting strips right here. It's actually a DRL, so it turns on even at daylight, but it also doubles up as your taillights. Right here, we also have a steeply raked rear end for the GAC Emkoo Hybrid. So it's very futuristic along with the spoiler right here. Now, to identify this as a hybrid, you have the blue halo badge here, as well as the hybrid badge that's just below the Emkoo emblem. Now, the thing that I don't like really with the GAC Emkoo as a whole are these fall exhaust tips. Well, they're supposed to look like the exhaust of the GAC Emkoo, but for me, they look more like, you know, an HDMI port of some sorts. But anyway, I can keep yapping about that thing that I don't like, but on to more important things. Let's open up this power tailgate. And you can see that even with the hybrid system, the GAC Emkoo still has a generous cargo area. So the measurements right here, from here to there, are about 34.5 inches. The width is about 41 inches. And before you scuff the ceiling, you have about 29 inches of cargo height. Now, you can fold down the second row seats, and you can increase the cargo area into about 60 inches longer. Now, the good thing about the GAC Emkoo Hybrid is that, well, some of the cars that we've reviewed, especially the electrified ones, don't have a spare tire, but the GAC Emkoo Hybrid does have one, albeit it's not a full size, but it's a donut spare. But this will do if you have a flat, so you can bring it to the nearest vulcanizing shop or some sorts. So it's way better than waiting for a patching kit to dry off, right? But that's about it here at the back. Well, let's see what's powering the GAC Emkoo Hybrid.
Come on, come on.
Now, this is where the main difference is found between the ICE model of the Emkoo and the hybrid version, because instead of a 1.5-liter turbo, paired to a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, we have ourselves a 2-liter Atkinson cycle engine, an electric motor, and a 2-speed dedicated hybrid transmission, forming the hybrid system of the Emkoo. Now it's still powering the front wheels, and ICE engine alone makes 140 PS and 180 Newton meters of torque. But combined with the electric motor to form the parallel hybrid system, it has 238 PS and 300 Newton meters of torque. So that definitely takes it up a notch in terms of performance. But not only that, it also delivers better fuel efficiency because you can actually go on full electric for a few kilometers with this hybrid system. Now, the nice thing about the Emkoo's hybrid system is that GAC made it simple for the end user because it doesn't have any buttons, it doesn't have any plugs or whatever. It's a self-charging hybrid, so you just really have to go out and drive. And the charging, the EV mode, and even the combined system mode is being done by the GAC Emkoo's computers. So no need for you to think of those things. It's very simple and, well, very much easy to adapt whenever you're adjusting into electrification. Now, the GAC Emkoo Hybrid has a rated range of around 1,000 kilometers. So with its 50-liter fuel tank, you're looking at around 20 kilometers per liter. We'll see if we can achieve that once we're driving. But first, let's check out the interior of the GAC Emkoo.
Come on.
Now, the first things you'll notice when you step inside the GAC Emkoo, I mean all of it, all of the variants of the GAC Emkoo, is that the cabin is very clutter-free. The dashboard itself, there's very minimal buttons. There's a nice design here for the piano black. They've put in the line so it's not much of a fingerprint magnet of stuff. And the materials itself are very nice to the touch. The armrest in here, even the door cards have the soft touch padding, even the dashboard itself. The steering wheel is nice and perforated, and it also has some red stitching to add some sportiness into the Emkoo Hybrid. Now, features-wise, we have a 7-inch digital instrument cluster, and we have a 10.1-inch for your infotainment. But the main difference between this and the ICE variants is seen at the 7-inch instrument cluster, because instead of a tachometer, you have a power bar. So you can see there it has a charge, eco, and power instead of the 1 to 8,000 RPM that you see on typical ICE models. But you can also change the view from here. If you want the full electric style experience, it says in there the 0 kilowatt. That's basically we're running on battery power right now. But for me, I prefer still the power gauge. So right here, we can access it through the steering wheel. We have the ADAS function there, tire pressure monitors. You have the current memory for your fuel consumption. Then you also have the fuel consumption trend. So if you're a fan of these kinds of stuff, you can access them very much in here. Also have the energy flow, so you know what's going on with the hybrid system. And other than that, well, the bar itself right here on the instrument cluster. So if you see this power bar right here, that doesn't mean that you are overheating. This is actually the status of the hybrid system's battery. So if this goes into full, then that means you can go on electric range for much longer. The other one right here is, of course, your fuel gauge. We have a range of 935 kilometers left, so plenty of road trips to come. So what else can we see from this touchscreen? We have the drive modes for economy, comfort, and sport. Unfortunately, that is the main gripe that I have with the GAC Emkoo Hybrid. You can access it right here, so you will still have to look at the screens to actually adjust the drive mode. But if you're not really using that much on your everyday driving, then it's pretty much okay. Another thing is, of course, when it comes to user friendliness. So if you haven't done the RTM or read the manual, you wouldn't know that you could actually adjust the temperature setting on this canister-like thingy down here. Now, the other things that you can adjust on this screen are, well, these are for your AC fan blower setting, and this is for your infotainment. Now, down here, you have the buttons for the hazard, for starting and stopping the car. This is actually the drive function. So this is for your transmission. You have the park button right there, and you have a toggle here for reverse, neutral, and drive. Then you have an electronic parking brake, and for functionality, you have your two cup holders in here, aside from the door cards right over here. So let's do the kasha check. So this one will fit in here, and this will fit on that cup holder. Now up here we have a panoramic glass roof. Yes, it's just a panoramic glass roof, not a sunroof, because you can't really retract the glass roof that's in here. You can only close the shade and open it, but luckily, the shade itself is pretty much thick, so it pretty much blocks the sunlight whenever you're out on a sunny day. Now the rear seats itself, they also have just one USB charging port. So if ever you find yourself with 5 passengers, they're gonna have to fight for that single USB charging port at the back. But it also has, rear AC vents, so it's gonna keep them nice and cool during road trip. But that's about it here at the GAC Emkoo Hybrid's cabin. Now let's go out for a drive and see how it feels like.
Come on, come on.
Right, so now we're on the road driving the GAC Emkoo Hybrid. And it's really a relaxing experience behind the wheel. It's a C-segment crossover, and it's one of the bigger ones in its segment. But you don't really feel the size when you're behind the wheel. It doesn't feel intimidating to drive. Though there are some issues with the thick A-pillars, so you're gonna have a few blind spots over here. But it's all well and good, since when you're turning, you have these cameras right here that have really good quality when you're turning left, turning right, or even when backing up. So it's all well and good. You have the help to eliminate those blind spots. And of course, you have those big side mirrors, so you can see out pretty much clearly even behind the car. And driving this around town with the hybrid, it's really effortless. I mean, right now we're in EV mode, and I'm in the eco mode as well. It's so quiet, and I like the sound deadening of the GAC Emkoo. Even the ICE version is actually pretty quiet inside, already has good sound deadening all around. So the fundamentals of the GAC Emkoo in the ICE version has been carried over to this hybrid version that we have right now, and it just elevates the experience when it comes to the mechanical refinement. Because with the ICE version, we have the 7-speed dual clutch. It does get a bit jerky at times with the 7-speed dual clutch, but with this new dedicated hybrid transmission, it eliminates all that while leaving a smoother driving experience. So yeah, it's really a big improvement over mechanical refinement. And the fact that you have your fuel savings as well with the hybrid system. Right now, I've been averaging only around 16-17 kilometers per liter here in the city, and it even goes up to around 21 when I reach the highway. So fuel economy is really good with the hybrid. And of course, it doesn't fall short on power. Right now, let's switch over to the sport mode and try to step on it a bit. Yep, it has the power. So it's not a boring hybrid at all. So if you need the power, if you're always going for efficiency most of the time, but if you need the power, it's there. Even the suspension of the GAC Emkoo Hybrid is nicely sorted out. We have a C-segment crossover here, so it has MacPherson's in front and the multi-link suspension at the back. So it's not like the torsion beam that we have in smaller B-segment crossovers or even smaller sedans. So the multi-link technically gives a better ride, since the GAC Emkoo Hybrid, it's
delivering, the kind of buttery smoothness that I want. It's not overly soft either, because you still get a hint of stiffness, but it's just there to keep things in check and to keep the car stable over the minor bumps. No, not as sporty as you would expect in a Mazda or a Honda CR-V, for example. And in a car like this, you would be really happy to trade off a bit of sportiness for a little more comfort. Because every day after office, you just really wanna relax on your drive home, and that's what the GAC Emkoo Hybrid delivers. Now, I've been saying a lot of great things about the GAC Emkoo Hybrid, but there are also some that I see that needs some improvement. I've mentioned earlier about the user interface of the touchscreen, and even the drive modes are actually located there. So whenever I have to go over drive modes, I still have to access it in the touchscreen, which I wish really it would have just been a toggle switch right over here in the center console. So it would have been, I would have been less distracted behind the wheel. But nevertheless, I like the hybrid system of the GAC Emkoo Hybrid because it's very simple. You only have 3 drive modes, and you put it into drive and off you go. You don't have those switching. You don't have to really switch a lot with drive modes to maximize the fuel benefits of this. I'm into technical stuff, but most of the drivers don't really want to fiddle too much with drive modes and such, and with the GAC Emkoo you can really do just fine sticking it into eco or even just comfort mode. So you wouldn't really have a problem maximizing the hybrid system with the way GAC has designed the user friendliness of the hybrid system of this. And you don't even need to charge because this one's not a plug-in hybrid, though it still does up to 1,000 kilometers. GAC has really made the Emkoo from good to better with the hybrid system. It has eliminated most of the shortcomings of the 7-speed dual clutch transmission of the 1.5 turbo. And now you have a smoother and a more well-rounded offering with the GAC Emkoo Hybrid. Well, let's head on back to the warehouse to wrap this thing up.
Come on, come on.
So that's about it. The GAC Emkoo Hybrid, well, it ticks all the right boxes, and it has addressed most of our concerns with the ICE version of the Emkoo. Now, it's priced at 1.698 million, so it means it's lagging behind the BYD C-Line 6 in terms of value. But if you don't want to complicate yourself too much with charging and all that stuff that comes when you're owning a plug-in hybrid, then the simpler hybrid of the GAC Emkoo can win you over. It has a style, it's fuel efficient, and it's also practical. So what more can you ask for out of a crossover? Well, perhaps the user interface on the interior can be a little more easier for us. Now, let us know what you think in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Jamil of AutoIndustriya.com. Thank you for watching.